Are we not having Fox talk? Like,
I am wondering if
I think it works for us a lot.
You know what? Where's British already had the glass? I know.
Yeah, you're doing that 5-year program. Like the first year of master's, the last year of just getting
I see. 2015.
Hey, Marcus. Alright, how are you? Probably. I mixed copper and blonde dye together. I don't know how, because I'm trying to go more something.
They should know by now.
And it's also pretty cool. It's custom art. Yeah, I was just saying, guys, they're having so they have 6. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I learned today that we did. I need to.
I was showing it to myself. My friend.
Like, really just. What was the reason that you guys do that 2 were not what was the other money that were they asking for? Okay, so what in market has you just could afford it?
I'm having my professor.
It was 5,200.
I take it back, but I was like.
There we go. I now call this meeting of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association Student Senate to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to begin our Student Senate meeting taking place on Thursday, January 25th, 2024, with a land acknowledgement. We recognize that Kansas State University, as the first land-grant institution, stands on the ancestral lands of the Kaw people. Our state of Kansas is home to 4 federally recognized Native nations: the Iowa, Kickapoo, Prairie Band Potawatomi, and Sac and Fox. We must remember that the land serving as the foundation for this institution was and still is stolen land acquired by white settlers. We pledge our commitment to creating decolonized spaces at the university while advocating for the support and future success of Indigenous faculty, staff, and students at K-State. With that, Speaker Pro Tem Kappelman will take it away with our first roll call.
All right. Atchison. Bellamy.
Here.
Biggs.
Here.
Blood.
Here.
Broughton.
Here.
Bruckner.
Here.
Koch.
Here.
Compton. Cuesta.
Here.
Cup.
Here.
Dennis.
Here.
Drotz.
Here.
Dunce. Glasscock.
Here.
Haynes.
Here.
Hartzell. Heatherman. Hoffmans.
Here.
Hulse. Hunley.
Here.
Jacobson.
Here.
Kirchen.
Here.
Kidd.
Here.
Kermer. Kinsey.
Here.
Lilly.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Lynn.
Here.
Mason.
Here.
Melcher.
Here.
Moore. Oury.
Here.
Pelton.
Here.
Peterson.
Yep.
Rios.
Here.
Rivard. Rodriguez Melendez. Rogers.
Here.
Syatt Carley.
Here.
Salmon. Streetman. Strunk.
Here.
Sushanik.
Here.
West.
Here.
Winger.
Here by proxy.
Wolf. And Zacco.
Here.
All right,
I'm
thanks,
here,
everyone.
Brady.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brady. We'll now move into our first open period. First up for first open period, we have Dr. Thomas Lane.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I will try to adhere to time because I know you have a full agenda tonight. It is great to be with you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Wow, what a start to the spring semester, huh? There's something about spring semesters at K-State that I've learned. So let's see, we've had the Hale Library fire in the spring semester. We had COVID come by us in the spring semester. And of course, this spring semester, we've been challenged with some really weird winter weather and also certainly a significant IT issue that I know has impacted all of us. But you know what? We'll get through this because that's what we do as K-Staters, right? We're resilient. This spring semester is certainly giving us an opportunity to stretch that resiliency muscle, but we'll do that and we'll get through it, and I'll be happy to talk a little bit more about what I know in regards to the IT issue at the conclusion of my remarks. What I wanted to get accomplished tonight with you in the time that I have during open period is to talk with you about a restructuring that occurred later or earlier this fall semester when the Office of Student Success and the Division of Student Life came together to form a new division called the Division of Academic Success and Student Affairs. I'm going to turn that on. That would be helpful. All right. Can I move around? Is that I don't want to be stuck.
You take it with you. The Zoom can't hear you without it. So.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm scared of breaking something. The Division of Academic Success and Student Affairs. So I have a real brief presentation that I want to share with you. You might have seen this go on our DASA, which is the Division of Academic Success and Student Affairs acronym, go around on our Instagram or other social media channels. So if we go just to the next slide, and there's a video embedded in this, and let me just apologize up front. You're going to be looking at me talking about DASA. And so I wish that we would have gotten somebody else, but they said, no, we want you to do this first one. And so I apologize in advance. We're going to get better people to do it next time. But this hopefully gives you a little idea about the division.
My job at K-State as vice president of DASA is to make sure that our students know
Stretched out, like Stretch Armstrong.
that they have a great K-State experience, that they have opportunities to increase their sense of well-being, and that they have supportive resources both inside and
spared
outside
no
the classroom.
expense.
Looking to ensure that students know from their housing arrangements to academic advising to career advising, they know the division they can contact to help make sure they're successful while here at K-State. I often tell students that we don't give any special prizes out at graduation for doing this all on your own. I want to make sure that no K-State student feels like they're alone in their K-State journey. And so DASA's arranged to make sure that whatever that need might be, whether it's a supportive resource or inside the classroom, outside the classroom, their well-being, their sense of belonging, that they know there's a division that they can connect with that will get them set up for success. And you asked about, why did we call it Division of Academic Success and Student Affairs? And it's really taking into account the whole student experience. A student's not just a student inside the classroom. A lot of their time is spent outside the classroom as well too. So how do we make sure that we're looking at the whole student experience and making sure that we're presenting resources and programs and services where they're needed and when they're needed at?
Almost if like K-State was in a fun house and you see those mirrors, that you're sitting up to. Yeah, that was fascinating. I want to share with you how the Division of Academic Success and Student Affairs is structured. If you could move to the next slide, please. So you can see that we're arranged thematically into 5 different areas. And the first one is community building. So all of those spaces, places, and programs where the intent is to build a strong sense of community at K-State. And certainly the AVP, the Associate Vice President for Community Building, who's sitting right back there and is here most every SGA Senate night, is Dr. Derek Jackson. He is responsible for overseeing the efforts of Fraternity and Sorority Life, which we are so thrilled is back as part of the K-State Student Affairs Organization. Housing and Dining, K-State Student Union, Student Governing Association Advisement, Student Programs and Involvement, all of those within that community building theme. The second theme is student well-being, and so that's well-being in the widest sense. So it's our physical well-being, social well-being, emotional well-being. So you'll see our offices like Lafine Health Center, CAPS, PowerCat Financial, Recreational Services, Student Access Center, Morrison Family Center for Student Wellbeing are all located within that particular theme, and that's led by Kathleen Hatch. Mirta Chavez, I'm sure many of you know. She provides advisory support to one of our allocation committees, our diversity allocation committee. At SGA, she's Assistant Vice President for Student Belonging and Inclusion, and you can see all of the areas that are within what was formerly known as DMSA. And so Student Belonging and Inclusion includes our First Generation Student Center, the Morris Family Multicultural Center, Spectrum Center, TRIO programs, our Upward Bound and Student Services program that's located on our Salina campus. Our newest member of DASA's leadership team is Bill Watts, who joins us from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Bill's in about his 3rd week at K-State. I told him that we had great weather during his interview time. He asked me about winters in Manhattan, and I said, the winters are really mild. I think you're going to love it here. He has been glaring at me ever since for these past 3 weeks. He's loving being here, though. He looks great in purple. He's going to be our Associate Vice President for Academic and Career Engagement, which is that part of DASA that focuses on the success both inside and outside the classroom. So looking at, for example, academic advising, and how do we make sure that every student, no matter what college they are a part of, has a great academic advising experience. And so we're going to be working really hard in coordination with our academic colleges to help ensure that that experience is a positive one for our students. We also have within that area our Academic Achievement Center, where academic coaching occurs, tutoring occurs, our Pre-Professional Advising Center, K-State First. I bet many of you have interacted with our K-State First program. We're looking at bringing on a 2nd-year experience next fall, and then again, tutoring services. I know many of you know Andy Thompson, who is our Assistant Vice President and Senior Associate Dean of Students. Andy is responsible for student support and accountability, what we used to be called the Office of Student Life. And so Andy is responsible for oversight of our care office, which works with students who may have experienced sexual violence or relationship violence, our critical incident response team, Honor and integrity is now moved from the provost office to student support and accountability. Military affiliated and veteran services, so our military affiliated resource center, which is located in the Union, which will be moving very shortly, I think, to a larger space, is part of Andy's portfolio. Student legal services, of course, student support and accountability. What used to be the Office of Student Life, where any student can go to student support and accountability, and if they are experiencing a personal or an academic barrier, seek support, have advocacy, and help them navigate through that barrier towards success. And then testing services, which is located over in the Unger complex, not too far off campus here. So hopefully you can see that that's the division of academic success and student affairs. We touch from where students are living at, for where students are gathering at, and promoting their success both inside and outside the classroom. I want to share with you 5 initiatives that I'm pretty excited about, and hopefully you may have some questions about, so I'll be happy to answer those. The first one is our Strong Complex renovation. Since 2020, the Strong Complex, which consists of Boyd, Putnam, and Van Zyl residence halls, has been unoccupied. We did use Strong Complex for isolation housing during the height of the pandemic, but since that time, it's been unoccupied. This fall, we will be welcoming students back into Putnam and Van Zyl, and Boyd Hall will be under renovation. And so in partnership with the Staley School for Leadership, we are reimagining the Strong Complex as a dynamic, cross-disciplinary, scholarly community that will serve as the anchor home for the honors program, but also inspire signature learning experiences for residents that really want to engage in solving wicked problems. And so we're excited about what the future is for that particular complex. And I'm just excited to have students back into those buildings. They are beautiful, beautiful buildings that are an important part of K-State. Second one I want to talk about is Cat's Cupboard. So according to survey data, 40% of K-State students face food insecurity. SGA was one of the first groups to recognize this need and to advocate for a campus food pantry. And what a journey that organization has been through over these last several years. This past fall, through a truly amazing donor gift, we were able to move Cat's Cupboard out of the basement of Fairchild Hall over to Denison Avenue, where I think we have what is now the premier food pantry in the nation, I think. With this move, Cat's Cupboard visits have increased from 70 students daily to over 200. 70 to 200, which is pretty astounding. It's about an average cost of $15 to serve each student, and sustaining this operation is going to require continued philanthropic investment. So I have a lot of conversations with the foundation to how do we make sure that Cat's Cupboard stays on the top of mind of our K-State donor family. And it's also going to take student support and university commitment. I really am appreciative of SGA and the approval of the EOF request that came forth for student employees for Cat's Cupboard. That goes a long way in helping make sure that we can meet the needs of our students and help set them up for success so that they're not being deterred by food insecurity.
Speaker's time has expired.
Dang it, I thought I'd get up there.
Chair Long.
I move to extend the speaker's time by 2 minutes. Second.
I'm going to go really fast for 2 minutes, Jacob. Thank you.
As is allowed by our bylaws. Sorry, Dr. May.
Financial futures I want to talk about next. Bringing resources together for providing a holistic financial well-being support to all members of the K-State community is what this initiative is about. Many of you probably remember the All In initiative from last spring that raised over $1 million to help increase financial well-being information for our students. We have a team together now that's being led by Kathleen Hatch that has involvement from the academic colleges, from offices and programs from across the university to see how we can increase financial literacy both not only in the non-credit space, but also in the for-credit space. And so I hope that you'll invite Kathleen and the Financial Futures team to come to a future open period to talk about this program. Recreational fields. With the nearing completion of the North Campus Corridor project and the expansion of athletics facilities to the west,
the time I think is right to explore reinvigorating our recreational fields. Our current fields have significant drainage issues. They have lighting issues, and that impacts intramural participation. And intramurals is one of our largest student activities that we have. And so we hope that we're able to create a field area that entices students to engage in movement, strengthens our intramurals program, and visually contributes and connects to the EDGE Community District, EDGE Collaborative District that you see taking shape in that part of campus. But realizing this vision is going to take, again, external funding support, support from students, from the university, and also our partners in athletics. And we've received $1 million pledge of support from athletics to help support this project, but it's about a $10 million project, and so we're going to need to figure out funding strategies to make this project a reality if this is something that the students are interested in pursuing. And then finally, I'm going to talk real briefly this next fall. We are going to be standing up an exploratory transitions advising center through the Division of Academic Success and Student Affairs. And that's part of our university's commitment to student success. This center will serve students who are not quite ready yet to declare a major, an academic major, or maybe they're wanting to learn more about changing their major. We're going to be connecting them with academic advising targeted to that population, career exploration resources. It'll be connected to our pre-professional advising center, which currently exists over in the Bernie Family Welcome Center. And we help ensure that those students are making progress towards a degree while exploring their options.
The speaker's time has expired.
Chair Lynn.
I move to suspend the rules and extend speaker's time by 4 minutes.
Thank you, Peyton.
Okay, so to suspend the rules, it is 2/3, but we can do a hand vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. All opposed, same sign.
You just made my night. You made me feel really good by voting yes. Thank you so much. I would have been horrified if you voted no. I'm going to stop there about DASA. You may have questions about that, and certainly I'm able to answer questions. But I also want to make sure and provide some space that if there are concerns that you would like for me to know about in terms of how the IT issue that we've been wrestling with has impacted you, I'm happy to listen to those concerns. I may not have the answer for them, but I've asked Derek to take some notes down so that I can bring them to the group that meets on a daily basis as we're working through moving out of what has been a containment issue, kind of just figuring out what's happened, and then moving into a recovery as we're bringing things back. So happy to answer any questions about anything I've shared or anything about the recent IT incident. Please let me know. Jacob. Okay, Madam Speaker, do you want to call? I'm sorry.
Chair Long.
Sorry for cutting you off, by the way.
No, Jacob, that's cool.
I think what a lot of students were concerned about when the IT instant attack happened was that the immediate communications didn't say what had actually been lost or what happened. Do we know at this point what there was data lost?
So there's a third-party forensic team that is currently investigating the issue right now. That investigation is not complete. And so what I want to make sure that you know as a resource is the ksu.edu/update. That will be where the most recent information is, but that forensic investigation is not complete yet.
Chair Blood.
With the
Can you tell I'm used to doing open forums? And
with the expansion and kind of renovation of the Strong Complex,
yeah.
What's kind of the plan to fill that, given that the Honors House has kind of provided a lot of those services since I've lived in it, has never really been at capacity, and obviously the Strong Complex is much larger.
Well, that's one of the hopes and why the decision was, I think, to lift up the honors program. We think that we can do that in the space and the plans that are being thought of for the Strong Complex, where, for example, when we are on campus tours and taking students around and learning about such opportunities as the honors program, we have a signature space that will be easy to be seen and hopefully lift those numbers up, because we're not where we should be in terms of honor program participation. And I think a part of that is our facilities, frankly. Other questions?
Senator Glasscock.
Yeah, you talked about trying to secure increased funding for CAS covered, like long term.
Yeah.
How is that progress going? Does it seem to be on a good trend, or is there lacking in the field?
Well, I think certainly the increase in demand has had an impact. I think we have had great response from our K-State family in terms of donor response, and that continues. So the foundation is continually reaching out to donors who might be interested in supporting reducing food insecurity on campus. So I think we're continuing to see activity there. I think Lafine, of which Cats Cupboard is a part of, is assuming some of the overhead pieces of Cats Cupboard, so that helps as well too. But I still think that we've got to get our arms around, with this new space, with the increased demand, how do we make sure that we're setting Cats Cupboard up in a sustainable financial model? I don't think we have the answer yet on that. But I'm sure pleased that we have the interest from our donors to support this important service.
Mentee Glanville.
Will there be opportunities for students who don't necessarily want to participate in honors to be able to live in the Strong Complex?
Yes, yeah. There'll be a number of different programs that will be associated with the Strong Complex, but it will not be just solely for the use of honor students.
Emerging Leaders Coordinator Hoffman.
Yes, thank you. I had a question about the IT attacks. The forensic investigation team undergoing is, I understand that. But once we find out what data has been lost, does K-State plan to release any student-sensitive information and what might be a risk for our information, to like what passwords we should change from outside, like banking info, all of that?
So I don't want to speculate on what the results of the forensic investigation are, but I'm confident knowing that the institution is going to help students, faculty, and staff respond in an appropriate way to whatever the results are of that investigation. Also, can I just share with you? So we all went through the mandatory password change. Anyone want to take a guess on the percentage of students who have successfully changed their password? Anyone take a guess? Can I ask that question out loud? Okay.
100.
Oh, from your lips to God's ears, Peyton. We're close.
89.
Nope, 93% as of this morning has changed. That's really great. That's great. And so just know how thankful and grateful I am for our students, because I recognize this has been a real inconvenience for our students. So thank you for taking that step, because that helps get us to that point of moving from containment to a space of recovery.
Are there further questions for the speaker? Senator Koch.
Are there any further goals or initiatives that you have just for this fiscal year? I'm just curious, what are your personal goals?
Those ones that I listed, those 5, I'd say those are the ones that are top of mind to me. We also are taking a look at, so there's a group of us working in the student success space. So we have a K-State Student Success Playbook that's connected to the Kansas Board of Regents initiative. And so that's part of that second year experience that I was talking about, but it's also looking at how do we strengthen our summer bridge programs, how do we look at all of the communications that our students receive and how might we streamline those. So, we learned that students receive over about 140 different emails typically in an academic semester from just kind of central university. Trying to reduce those and make sure that we're being more effective in our communication with students. So that group is looking at those kinds of things. And so that's been taking up a lot of my brain space this semester, but it's been fun to work on.
Speaker's time for questions has expired.
Thank you all. Have a great rest of spring semester. If there's a question that's on your heart and mind that I didn't answer, please come and visit with me. Go Cats.
Thank you so much. Okay, are there any further first open period speakers? Seeing none, we will go into approval of the minutes. The minutes were sent out last year, along with but they were then distributed on Tuesday along with the agenda and legislation tracking information. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Senator Glasscock.
I move to approve the minutes unanimously.
It has been moved and seconded. Those will stand approved. We will now move into announcements. Our first announcement is that we are still recruiting for the Emerging Leaders Program, now for the second class of Phase 1 mentees. Please recommend anyone that you know through the referral link that I have posted in the announcements. Second, if you have noticed any discrepancies in our governing documents, please report them to the special committee. 3, we are hosting an SGA alumni event. Save the dates for April 20th and 21st. More details to come on this, but please reach out to Student Body Vice President Jess Binkley with any questions. 4, proxies. If you're going to be absent from Student Senate, please fill out the link even if you aren't sure if your absence will be excused. 5, if you will be physically absent from the Student Senate but would like to attend via Zoom, please fill out the Student Senator's Zoom request form. Speaker Thomas will review these based on the Student Senate attendance policy. If you want to give props to someone in Student Senate, fill out the Senate shoutout form, and Speaker Pro Tem Kappelman will read them at the end of our meeting. 7, SGA Member of the Week is Jack Jennings, who just left the room. Jack oversaw the first election violation appeal case with the tribunal. So thank you so much for your hard work, Jack. You will then see the upcoming events calendar. But Senate Exec will not be happening, even though it's on the calendar, because we will be in DC. The quote of the week is, "You don't manage people, you manage things, you lead people." Admiral Grace Murray Hopper. Okay, next up we will move into approval of appointments. First up, we have Resolution 232459, approval of appointments to the judicial branch. Is there a motion? Senator Glasscock.
Move to consider resolution 59.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Will the author please come forward?
Yep.
Okay. Fourth page. Beautiful. All right. Hi, guys. Resolution 232460. Approval of the 2024-2025 Attorney General. Sponsors the Senate. 59 is first. Sorry, guys. Nope, you're totally good. Okay, Resolution 232459, approval of appointments of the judicial branch. Authors myself, sponsors Senate Operations Committee. Whereas it is necessary to approve appointments to Student Tribunal, whereas these positions were sufficiently advertised, whereas applications were made available to all students who showed interest in the Kansas State University Student Governing Association, whereas there were 4 applicants for this position, whereas the following individuals have been selected by the Attorney General to serve on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the Kansas State University student body throughout the next term, and whereas these appointments are subject to the approval of Student Senate, be it resolved that Section 1, the following individuals be approved to serve as members of Student Tribunal for the 2023-2024 Kansas State University Student Governing Association term. Nissa Olson, Troy Peart, thanks, and Kirsten Sipes.
Chair Cuesta.
Can we ask questions?
Sure.
Okay. What is the total number of student justices on the tribunal?
8. Okay. And this will put us at 8. So there were 4 applicants. We could not select the 4th one, even if we wanted to. For a 4th one. Yeah.
Is there a motion? Chair Cuesta.
I move to consider, I move to approve Resolution 59 unanimously.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Resolution 59 will stand approved.
I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Tribunal Member and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Wonderful, yay! Okay, so now we're gonna do name, major, hometown, and favorite smell.
Hi guys, my name is Kirsten. I'm a freshman. My major is secondary education English. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, and my favorite smell is coconut.
Hello, I'm Troy. I'm open option undecided. I'm from Amarillo, Texas, and my favorite smell would be like fresh baked chocolate chip cookies.
Hey guys, my name is Nessa Olson. I'm an animal science major from Manhattan, Kansas, and my favorite smell is my family's barn back at home.
I'm also just going to take a moment to brag that these are all emerging leaders from this past semester, so shout out Andrew and Jacob for that funnel. That's awesome. Also, this means that the judicial branch is full for the first time since I've been here, which is incredible. That's amazing.
Okay, next up for approval of appointments, we have Resolution 232460, approval of the 24-25 Attorney General. Chair Questo.
I move to consider Resolution 60. Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Will the author please come forward?
Yes. All right. Resolution 232460, approval of the 2024-2025 Attorney General, authors myself, sponsors, Senate Operations Committee. Whereas it is necessary to approve the Attorney General for the 2024-2025 school year, whereas this position was sufficiently advertised, whereas applications were made available to all students who showed interest in the Kansas State University Student Governing Association, whereas there were 4 applicants for this position, whereas this individual has been selected by the Attorney General Recommendation Committee to serve on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the Kansas State University student body throughout the next term. And whereas this appointment is subject to the approval of Student Senate, be it resolved that Section 1, the following individual shall be approved to serve as the Attorney General for the 2024-2025 Attorney General term, Andrew Navarro.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Seeing none, is there a motion? Chair Lynn.
I move to approve, what number is it? 60 unanimously.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any objections? Seeing none, it will stand approved.
All right. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Attorney General and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I do.
Wonderful. Do you want to do name majors as well?
So I'm doing it. Howdy, y'all. My name is Andrew Navarro. I'm a political science major with a minor in Spanish. I'm a junior here at K-State. My favorite smell is a 20-piece chicken bucket from KFC. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, now that we've exhausted approval of appointments, we will move into committee reports. Are there any committee chairs that would like to give a report? Seeing none, we will move into directors' reports. Are there any directors that would like to give a report? Brady. Pro Tem Kappelman.
Okay, so some of you guys may have heard about this, some of you may have not, but we are currently working on bringing a high school student council summit. This will be February 29th, so it's a Thursday. It's about a month away. But basically the goal of this event is to bring up high school student council members from across Kansas and Missouri and whoever wants to come. Basically to just bring them to our campus for a day to show them what SGA is like. Because as we all know, sometimes like the transition from high school to college can be hard. So having a resource and a day to be on our campus and see how we do things may be able to make it easier for high school students to come up to K-State. So with that being said, I just put out a link in our GroupMe, so you guys should see a form that Alexa made, so shout out to her. So if you guys are interested in helping out, there are a few events that we're doing during the day, so I'm not asking for you to like help the entire day, because that's kind of a lot. But if you'd at least be willing to give like an hour of your time, we would love to help. And it's good to say, like, if you're applying for something, to say, hey, like, I help put on an event for youth kids to learn more about SGA. So it should be a lot of fun. So we're really excited about it. But if you have any questions, please let me know. There's also a document at the bottom of that form if you open it that has more information as well. So thanks, guys.
Awesome. Are there further directors that would like to give a report? I have a report. Hi, guys. I just have a couple of things that I wanted to come up and say, addressing the Senate for the first time coming back for the semester. The first thing is we are now into election season. Lots of people are curious about what different positions look like, maybe what running for Senate looks like, cabinet positions, committee chairs, judicial. So I would love to book a meeting with you. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. I've met with some people already, but I wanted to extend that offer to everybody. Or if there is someone else that's in a position that you would currently like to meet with, you can either reach out to them, I'm sure they're happy to help, or I can get that connected for you. The second thing that I want to talk about is I have made an SGA calendar that has all of the events that you can just add into your Google Calendar, turn it on and off. It has election dates, all of the committee meetings, and all of the important dates, and we're continuously updating that. So it has the alumni event that we're going to do, and all sorts of any date that you could need is in this calendar that I've made. So I will send that out in a follow-up email. Third is merch. Many of you saw that I sent out a merch form. They don't have a date on them, which is nice. They don't have a year, so we can use them if we end up having leftovers. So if you are in SGA this year, or if you know someone who is going to be in SGA next year, send them that form. It is due in 2 weeks, 2 Fridays from now, so February 7th, I think it is. And make sure that you pay for it, or I won't order it. There are a couple of different ways that you can pay for it. If for some reason you really want merch but can't work out paying it by that date, just reach out to me and let me know, and we can figure something out. I think the merch is really cute, but I'm biased because I made it. Fourth, the Governing Docs Committee that is reviewing our governing documents and kind of taking out anything that contradicts one another. I am in need of a legislative nominee to that committee. So they are going to meet for the first time tomorrow. So please let me know if you are interested in serving on that committee. Details about that will also be in the follow-up email that I'm going to send out. Please let me know by the end of tonight, if possible, since they are meeting tomorrow. And if you have any further questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. And my fifth and final thing is we're going to be in DC next week. Your student government leadership is going to fly to DC in order to lobby for education policy on Capitol Hill. It's incredibly exciting. It is something that we do every year. So please let me know if anybody has any questions about that. Brady is going, so your Senate next week will be chaired by Parliamentarian Pilchard. That is the general summation of my report. I wanted to take time to get in front of you all and also just update you on a couple of things, resources, and things that are in the works. So does anybody have any questions? Chief of Staff Brown.
Where did you get that awesome blazer?
It was my grandma's. My grandma gave me 4 suits from when she was my age. She's 80 now, and I just love this jacket, so. Thank you for asking. Seeing no further questions, thank you. That follow-up email has now been sent out. Are there further directors that would like to give a report tonight? Vice President Binkley.
All right, hi guys. So you saw in the agenda, we're gonna have an alumni event. So we've been busy planning that, especially over break. I haven't given an update because it was break. Save the date has already been sent to alumni. So to give you a little bit more information on that, it is April 20th and 21st. So that's a Saturday and Sunday. It'll be the full day on the 20th. We're looking to do kind of like probably a mock Senate, a mock cabinet meeting, a mock judicial hearing, as well as some campus tours. We're open to ideas incorporating really anything that you think alumni would want to see. We want to hear from them a little bit too, so we've talked about doing like some TED Talks with different alumni to have them put in a little bit of work while they're here too. And then that Saturday, we'll be going to the baseball game, and we'll be able to do a tailgate before that. So we have support from President Linton and the Alumni Association to be able to put that on, so it's not going to be completely SGA funded by any means. But we'll be doing that all day Saturday. Then Sunday is going to look like a little bit of a networking brunch. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions, but I also, and this is me asking for as much input as you want to give me. We're very much early in the planning process, so let me know.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Cox-Sitter Kit.
Yeah, so what, are there any specific age ranges of alumni that you plan to like participate more than others or anything like that?
No, so it's open to any and all student government alumni in any capacity. So it was sent to over 3,000 alumni of K-State. So anyone that was tagged from the Alumni Association as an SGA alum got the email. So really anybody, if you all know of anyone that didn't get it, I'll be sending out to the listserv the little graphic that we sent. So feel free to pass that on. Make sure that everyone that you know who is an alum got invited too.
Chair Long.
I was going to say, a couple of people that graduated last semester I know didn't get it, so that might be a little.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure out who that group was exactly. If they didn't fill out the form at the end of the year listing their involvement, then they would not have gotten the email, so that might be on them. But we're trying to figure out who all that was and get it dispersed to as many people as possible. But yeah, I'll send out that graphic, so you all, if you have anybody you know, you can send it to them too.
Cox-Sitter Kid.
Do you know when the last SJ reunion was?
I do not. We've been working with Amy Button-Rins as well, I should have mentioned that, and she kind of referenced that it was before COVID, but also that it wasn't a huge event, and maybe that it was just local alum and maybe younger alum. Derek, you're nodding in the back. Does this sound familiar?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It's just like, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm really not sure. A lot of the alumni that have responded so far have thanked me for starting a new event, so maybe it's new, maybe it's not, I don't know.
Follow up?
Granted.
Yeah, if I could give a suggestion, so with reunion planning, something that's always been given to me with me planning events has just been to capitalize on certain years. So if you want to do like those that have graduated in 5-year increments from 2024, that could be something helpful for you. And or eras, we're big into eras now, so eras of the union changing or whatever, like student leadership that help pilot, that could be a good thing to kind of capitalize on too.
Okay.
Pushing those invites.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. I also should add really quickly, we're going to be raising money for a scholarship or additional scholarships within SGA, so if that piques anyone's interest as well, more than happy to talk about that further. Kind of ironing out the details of a lot of things right now. So.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you. Are there further directors that would like to give a report tonight? Seeing none, are there any committee chairs that would like to give a report tonight? Chair Lynn.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I just remembered that I did have something to share. For DEI, B Committee Diversity Programming Funds, starting out this semester, we had about $60,000 left in our funds for the year. As of right now, we have $36,489 left in our budget. However, out of all of my pending applications, those add up to $54,050. So if anyone here is doing the math, that is more than the first number. So here next week, I'm going to be putting a resolution in front of you all, or a bill in front of you all, to ask if we can pull money out of the DPF reserves. We can pull out up to $50,000 per year. And based on the trajectory that the committee's going, I'm thinking that we might need all of that. So just be on the lookout for that. And if you have any questions about how that funding has been going, let me know.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, seeing we have exhausted reports, we are going to move into College Caucus time. Speaker Pro Tem Kappelman sent out a slide explaining what we're going to be doing in caucus time. Arts and Sciences will be electing an interim senator, as well as selecting a new caucus leader. We are going to meet back here at exactly 8 p.m. in 11 minutes. Yeah.
Engineering for the ships.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm aware. I'm trying to. Yeah, wait, where did you send that? Sorry. I got it. Sorry, I didn't read that properly.
Oh, UH just.
I'm gonna pass it out. So. Well, passed by legislation. Thank you, but I can't keep the
What she does, she does a lot. For any of us, all of us were.
Let me zoom in.
Remind me, I don't either. I keep trying. I do.
Wouldn't seem like she does
Another 5.
I reserved it.
Yes, and I had like this is important, but this is more important.
Of yours. But I don't like that word.
Oh, liaison.
I've seen you. Well, she's gonna be here next year. Oh, there we go.
I think
So now there's mango.
I'm hitting my limit of
Well, because she left halfway. Okay. Sounds good.
But I thought that we only have to start this term. I'm sorry, who was our other? Okay, no. Who was our other?
Oh, no, I know. So, I mean,
Sorry, it's just we're doing a meeting we had with. So you're like aware of what's going on. I don't know how to speak about it.
Good, how are you guys doing?
Sorry, I didn't want you to be out of the loop of what you were talking about, especially if you weren't at the meeting.
I do just.
I think I'm the one out of us who went the most consistently, and then my Indians just have to be on my hands.
so many members, other than just
The lobby books. The
That's very neat. And they were to GSC.
So she basically suggested that program effort for there's a lot of stuff. I have that, but I'm also on
He's really good at
So will we be?
Or maybe like.
We just need to represent graduate student senator representative.
I don't want to see it.
I will.
So, I mean,
yeah, there's Dr. Gorskovsky. He's really
I don't know. I mean, if you give me an idea.
This is exactly what we told me. Let's talk about what we have tonight. If I get my Hey, excuse me, lie. What did I lie about? I've never lied in my life.
That's a lie. I mean, I did. Zane Whitney is our president-elect, essentially vice president position. Sarah Morgan is our secretary. She's the English. So I do know all of them. It's just I have not been able to personally attend meetings. I think no, because I do.
She said, Nick did a drink with me. I said, I have meeting room. You kind of are. And I said, but she's like, and she said, yeah. And then she's like, or maybe like one of us, like maybe. I'm not bad at it.
Maybe it might be better.
Like a
more of their job.
Like, what if I mentioned it? I was like, what for?
I think I met him like once. I told him not to, and that was because I see this is where how was your break speed? This is the for serving people.
He's like probably
Well, I told him
I was gonna fill this water bottle with water. I would have thought.
Don't guys all good.
Yeah.
I know it's sitting.
Yeah, I traveled a lot for 6 more weeks. Yes.
I don't think they would.
And if we, because we're too.
Back at the Wichita. I had to go back down.
But like, if tribunals or something.
I don't know why.
I just don't know when they're gonna
No, you're good.
Am I just not raising my plaster high enough? Is that what
Carson has to resign as one of the two places. He just got approved that the college It is. I move immediately to do it. I mean, we're not in session, so it doesn't matter.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a new interim senator, Andrew Lee. Well, elect. Interim senator-elect, who will get sworn in 2 weeks from now because I will not be here next week.
Can Jack be here?
I want to swear him in. He's my mentee. And we have a new caucus leader of Arts and Sciences, which is Chair Cuesta. Okay, now that we have done caucus time, we will move into final action. First up, we have Resolution 232456. Is there a motion? Or is there?
We don't need a motion.
Just kidding. I don't need one. Would the author please come forward? have any changes been made?
Just changing Corey Williamson as the director of the union to say interim director Craig Johnson instead. But that's it.
Awesome. You have first rights to debate.
Okay, awesome. So this piece of legislation came about after basically an entire semester's worth of work that the DEI committee did. This was one of my biggest goals coming into this position, so I'm really proud of the work that my committee did to get this going. I think that this is something that can potentially be really important for a lot of students on campus. Obviously, we want to make sure that every student feels like they are represented and have safe spaces on campus. And I think that doing something like this, allowing us to have gender-neutral restrooms in as many places, as many buildings as possible that are available to students is a really good step forward in making sure that we are creating those safe spaces for the students who don't always feel like they have a place to be accepted or that they don't necessarily fit into either a traditional male or female restroom. So with this resolution, obviously, we're really hoping that by passing this, that we can make some actual lasting change at the university, which is why I encourage a yes vote on this piece of legislation.
Thank you. Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Senator Jacobson.
Yeah, so thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm not going to sit up here and grandstand, but I just kind of want to come up here today and just let everyone know why I oppose this resolution regarding gender-neutral restrooms. It is, I would say, somewhat of a concern that we're, kind of wasting valuable resources, or when the university has the resources at our disposal to make these resources be used in better ways, or at least recommending. It's no secret to a lot of us that we are living in a time of budget constraints. And every penny we allocate should be spent with the utmost care and responsibility. But we are here today contemplating the allocations of funds for something that I just can comfortably say I don't think a lot of our constituents think is a priority. My constituents, when I talk to my with peers in the College of Business, they're talking about campus accessibility. They're talking about infrastructure on campus, and they're talking about parking, stuff like that. So, I understand this issue may be a priority for some. Totally get that. But we can't disregard the financial implications, this potentially divisive that would become of this. And I understand, the author of this bill talked about kind of what they did out here, the simple, the changing of a sign. The fact of the matter is a lot of the infrastructure on this campus, a lot of these buildings that we go to class in every day are older. It's not that simple. And I would just say, this isn't a one-size-fits-all issue. I would talk to, faculty and maintenance about what the implications of this would be. I don't see this done in this resolution, which is one of the main reasons I'm up here today. So, my big thing here is pushing for these changes without proper consultation, like I just mentioned, and consideration for our campus community is reckless in my opinion. And this isn't the first time it's been done with in regards to these resolutions. So, we should be fostering an environment where, these opinions are talked about instead of steamrolled through. So, in conclusion, I just implore you to reconsider the misplaced priorities laid out in this resolution. Our university has the potential to make substantial advancements that would benefit all students, but instead we're choosing to push this costly agenda despite what's in this resolution already. Let's focus on the core mission of our institution and really kind of pursue this fiscal responsibility aspect of this. This is the big thing for me. And let's ensure that every dollar we spend is in the best interest of our entire university community. And let's make sure to prioritize what our constituents matter the most. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative, is there further debate in the positive? Chair Long.
On the subject of consultation, I'll just point out that the author of this bill did meet with the head of facilities, Casey Lauer, to discuss this, and that conversation was productive, and no red flags were raised during that. I also, understanding nuance, and there's definitely some differences to this rule, the cost of this allegedly costly and partisan construction project and change is this. A sign for $16 from an industrial manufacturer. This isn't renovations and tearing out buildings and all that such. This is quite literally and successfully, in 90% of the cases, putting a different sign on a restroom. That is not what I would consider costly, and certainly not worth more, cost more than accessibility for those students.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Phase 2 emerging leader, Lee.
Hello. I know that I'm like a new face around here, but I also sit on the DEIB committee. And I think what the previous senator has spoken about is a genuine concern when it comes to the budget and all that in the future years. But I do want to comment on the comment about accessibility. I think this bill kind of addresses accessibility in that way. If our constituents care about accessibility, gender-neutral restrooms will allow students who don't identify with traditional genders to be able to use the restroom that they so please. And we can see this being implemented across the country in various facilities. If you guys have flown out of the KCI airport recently, they now have gender-neutral restrooms that are phenomenal. And you know, when we look at the future of Kansas State University, if we want to continue enrollment numbers as a next generation land-grant university, I think this bill kind of addresses ways in finding more and creative ways to create a more inviting and inclusive community for all Kansans and for all students regardless. No matter where your political stances land on this type of issue like this, I think it creates a welcoming atmosphere for all students and not just picking and choosing certain ones. And so I urge that you support this resolution, not purely just because, not just because you care about creating a community for all students, but this is also a way to, whenever new prospective students come to K-State, we'll find really welcoming and inviting about our university and encourage them to come here rather than going to other universities like KU, stinky KU, or Wichita State University as well. So thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Chief of Staff Brown.
Just really quickly, first off, I'd like to thank all the people that put the hard work to do the groundwork and get to connect with our students and get to find out, what the actual statistics in our buildings were. I think that was a lot of hard work, and I think that deserves to be recognized. I think this is a fantastic place to start in inclusivity as we continue to push for Kansas State. I will say my one little tiny concern is that these bathrooms typically end up being converted from women's restrooms into gender-neutral restrooms, and the one concern that I see possibly is that as that continues, or if that continues, you might be in a situation where now, instead of, just changing a plaque outside of a bathroom, now we are actually short restrooms that people need, that people really do desire a private space, that sort of thing. That's my only slight concern. Majority of what I just really want to come across is just fantastic work. I think you should really be proud of yourself on getting this up here. I'm very proud of all the work that was put into this. Thank you, guys.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will go into a hand vote on resolution 56. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. That will pass. We will now move on to Resolution 232457. Will the author please come forward? Have any changes been made?
Same exact change as the last one, but that was it.
You have first rights to debate.
Okay, awesome. So this resolution, pretty similar to the last one, also came from the same review of buildings across campus that my committee did. This one is about the physical accessibility of our buildings on campus. One of the big problems with a lot of the buildings at K-State is because they're so old, they've been grandfathered in with some of the ADA requirements that have come up more recently than those buildings were built. So they don't have a lot of the things that make a building ADA compliant. While we can't fix that completely because that would cost a lot of money, I think that there are a lot of steps that we can take, which are outlined in this resolution, to encourage the university to prioritize making small fixes that are actually something that can be accomplished pretty easily. So with kind of this talk about accessibility and making sure that students are able to get around campus, I think that this is another really important piece of legislation that can help a lot of students who are currently facing some of those issues in those buildings that are a little bit older or don't meet some of the ADA requirements. So vote yes on this one as well. Thanks.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there any debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Is there any further debate at all? Oh. Thanks, Brian. We will now move into a hand vote on. Sure, yeah.
It jumped from section 1 to section 3 here. I'm not sure if that has been noted. That's correct.
Good correction. We will get that fixed before we get it signed into. We will now move into a hand vote on Resolution 57. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. All opposed, same. Proxies raised too. There we go. All opposed, same sign. Okay, that will also pass. Seeing as we've exhausted final action, we will now move into introduction, starting with Resolution 23. Oh, it is in final action, sorry. We've not exhausted final action. We are now moving on to Resolution 232458. Will the author please come forward?
Hi, you guys. Okay, so the reason why I wrote this piece of legislation is because when I was reaching out to our fellow international students, they expressed their concerns about finding temporary emergency housing. When they first come to the United States, they struggle with setting up their Evergy accounts or simple issues such as finding a US SIM card. And because of that, they're not welcomed as much as we would like to welcome them into this K-State family. And so what I urge you guys to do is to vote yes on this resolution and help welcome our international students to K-State.
Awesome. Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there any debate in the negative? Thank you. Is there further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will go on to a hand vote on Resolution 58. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. All opposed, same sign. Resolution 58 will pass. Now we've exhausted Final action, we'll move into introduction with Resolution 232461, recommendation to Kansas State University regarding Election Day. Is there a motion? Chair Lynn.
I move to consider Resolution 61. Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Will the author please come forward?
All right. Recommendation to Kansas State University regarding Election Day. Whereas Kansas State University, through the Next Gen K-State Strategic Plan, has clearly identified the importance of K-State as a community engine and students as the future Kansas workforce. Whereas the KSU Student Governing Association believes that KSU should demonstrate the value it places on engaged, civically minded graduates. Whereas KSU SGA Resolution 212216, approved April 29th, 2021, called on KSU to honor all election days as a university holiday, citing 1, low turnout among young voters, 2, low turnout among low-income voters, and 3, low turnout among non-white voters. Whereas these trends have held true, with the most recent United States Census data citing that 51% of white individuals reported voting in the most recent election, 42% of black individuals reported voting, and 27% of Hispanic or Latino individuals reported voting. Whereas voter suppression is most likely to impact voters with marginalized identities, with voters who are black or Hispanic are twice as likely to be denied time away from work or voting. Whereas KSU has not recognized election days as university holidays since Resolution 212216 was passed by KSU SGA. Whereas voting in person on Election Day may be impossible for many KSU students who choose to register in their hometowns if classes are in session. Whereas voters who establish early habits are more likely to increase their lifelong civic participation. And whereas the state of Kansas would be better served if KSU prioritized and encouraged voting. Be it resolved that Section 1 of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association recommends that KSU cancel classes on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. Upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the University Academic Calendar Committee, Interim Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Debbie Mercer, Incoming Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Jesse Perez Mendez, and University President, Dr. Richard H. Lynn.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Senator Glasscock.
When this resolution or a similar resolution was put through 2 years ago, do you know whether there was any conversation with the administration and how those conversations went?
I can't speak to how those conversations unfolded, other than we don't have the university holidays.
Caucus Leader Kidd.
Thank you for sharing this with us. This may need to be deferred, but for academic calendars, they're normally finalized pretty far in advance. So the only person I know that I think is on it in this room is Vice President Binkley, maybe. So can you maybe defer to her to see if the calendar for 24-25 has already been finalized and sent forth to K-Board?
Well, I would absolutely defer to the Vice President, but that's specifically why we chose the language of cancel classes rather than declare university holiday, not schedule classes. We are in a situation where we need to act differently than what the plan is set out to be.
Thank you.
Great, good job.
Chair Lynn?
No, I'm just.
Playing with your placard?
Yeah.
Sounds great. Are there further questions or corrections? Senator Koch.
How would this impact the want to have KSU night off as well? Because I know with like the Search for a Mental Health Day in the fall semester, wanting to cancel classes for election days and possibly wanting to cancel classes for KSU night, how will all of that impact the classes who actually have been canceled?
That's a great question.
Are there further questions? Seeing none, thank you. we have now exhausted introduction and we'll move into second open period. Are there any speakers for second open period? Seeing none, we will move into Senate shoutouts.
Right. Shout out to everyone being here. I'm so happy to see you all. Shout out to Brandon for being here at 2 a.m. Italy time. You're a trooper. Shout out to Jacob Hoffman raising Senator O'Malley's placard. Shout out to Andrew's outfit for being slay. Shout out to Jacob Hoffman for being everyone's bestie. Shout out to me, Brady Kaplan, for writing all these Senate shout outs. Shout out to Stinky KU. And shout out to Senator-elect Lee.
Awesome, we will now move into second roll call.
All right. Atchison. Bellamy.
Here.
Biggs.
Here.
Blood.
Here.
Broughton.
Here.
Bruckner.
Here.
Koch.
Here.
Compton. Cuesta.
Here.
Cup.
Here.
Dennis.
Here.
Drotz.
Here.
Fogel. Glasscock.
Here.
Haynes.
Here.
Hartzell. Heatherman. Hoffmans.
Here.
Pulse. Hunley.
Here.
Jacobson.
Here.
Kirchen.
Here.
Kidd.
Here.
Kermer. Kinsey.
Here.
Lilly.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Lynn.
Here.
Mason. Melcher.
Here.
Moore. Oury.
Here.
Pelton.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Rios.
Here.
Rivard. Rodriguez Melendez. Rogers.
Here.
Syed Carly.
Here.
Syed Nick.
Here.
Streetman. Strunk.
Here.
Sushanik.
Here.
West.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
And Zacko.
Here.
Thanks, everyone.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Senator Glasscock.
I move to adjourn until next week, same time, same place.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. See you all in 2 weeks.
No, they're not.